Welcome back to Together We Can's Monthly Action Items. My name is Rob Crain. I'm a personal injury attorney in Dallas, Texas. And along with Pastor Richie Butler, we are co-founders of Together We Can. This month, we recognize the National Hispanic Heritage Month in the United States. And it began as a week-long celebration in 1968 when signed into law by President Lyndon Baines Johnson. Then recognized by each succeeding president until George H.W. Bush signed in a month-long celebration beginning in 1989. We celebrate from September 15th through October 15th each year because September 15th, 1821 is the shared Independence Day, the shared anniversary of independence for Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Mexico also celebrates its independence on September 16th, as Chile does on September 18th, and Belize does on September 21st. So a lot to celebrate and commemorate during this month-long celebration. There is so much to take from this month's action items, and I kind of go backwards here with you in our introduction and might suggest you look at the NPR article found in our extras this month when talking about the term Hispanic and where it came from and what it was meant to connote. It, like any label, it has its flaws. So it's good to know its history so we can put it into context as we have so many of these discussions this month. And we start with a couple of videos from Hispanic Americans reflecting on how they identify themselves and the pride they have in their ancestry and how they place labels, use labels that we throw around so frequently in our discussions, but don't always hit the mark with them. So it's good to learn how our friends, our brothers and sisters here in America have different identities personally, and it's good to learn so that we can respect their identities and learn from where they're coming from. Likewise, we hear from some wonderful artists this month. America Ferrera, wonderful actress, producer. She's done a lot of work behind the cameras now in that producing role as well as directing role. Pedro Pascal, you'll hear from, and you'll recognize as well, who's been in a lot of well-known films and movies, TV programs as well. But you'll hear from both of them as well as our roundtable discussion from Afro-Latinos and Latinas in Hollywood as to the difficulties they have with typecasting and stereotyping, and Hollywood wanting to, push them into, one direction in their ability to act and not seeing their full range of skills and seeing the full range of characters that they are able to play. And in fact, when given the chance, actually surprise many in Hollywood as to really the talent they're not seeing when brought before for casting. So there's some great discussion, great life lessons from each of those offerings this month. We also have a wonderful interview with Lin-Manuel Miranda, who so many of us know from the hit Hamilton. We all saw what an incredible, diverse cast Hamilton brought forward, where sisters were being cast from different races in the play. And even though everything was true to the history, the diversity of the casting brought forth so much of what is so beautiful in American theater and what great future we have from the example that Mr. Miranda brings. It's also important for the discussion that Mr. Miranda has in that interview in regards to one of his later projects where he received some criticism from Afro-Latinas, the Latinx community, in regards to casting of that later project, which his response is what all of our responses should be. when we may or may not see the bigger picture, when we may or may not appreciate what it's like to be in somebody else's shoes. And Mr. Miranda certainly does that better than most people. But in face of that criticism, his response was not defensive. It was one of, well, I'm going to learn, and I'm going to get better. And that is all any of us can do, especially in this arena, this area of our lives, in this country especially, which is why most of you are listening and going through these action items each month, is we are all doing our best each day, each month, to grow and to learn better as to how it is to live in somebody else's shoes. And that's all we can do. And we're not going to be perfect. We're going to make missteps. But as long as we're walking with good intentions and doing the best that we can and striving to learn, that's all we can do. And we will continue on that path for the rest of our lives. None of us will get this perfect. So I applaud him in his example that he shows in this interview. I applaud each of you for doing that same effort of trying to learn each day and bring our communities closer together by better appreciating where each of us comes from with our different histories and our different experiences and perspectives. I want to thank Javier Perez, who is contributing this month's In Their Shoes segment. Javier is a wonderful leader. He is a wonderful family man, exceptional lawyer, and president of the Dallas Hispanic Bar Association. And such a leader that he is, he's held this role now on more than one occasion. So we are grateful to him for his contribution. We hope that you all get something meaningful from this month's action items and look forward to seeing you again next month.